Hi, this is Linda Morris, and I love the Nikken comforter, the Kenkotherm comforter. We have it in two different weights. We have the dream weight, which is a little heavier. For me in Florida, that means it's for 1 month out of the year in the winter. And I usually use the Dream Light comforter, which I have one over here. I'll show you in a minute. But it's so comforting. And I mean, that's the name comforter, right? It's not just a quilt, it's a comforter. So we're going to talk about the benefits because it's not your regular everyday comforter that you can buy anywhere. It actually has 3 different technologies within it. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And we are going to look at these benefits right now. So the sleep, Kenko Sleep, Kenko Dream Light Comforter. The perfect addition to your sleep cocoon, part of the Nikken sleep system, offering the same benefits as the Kenko Dream Comforter, but in a lighter form. So we do have the heavier one that people, they need a little bit more weight or warmth, I guess is a better way of putting it. And then we have the Dream Light, which I personally sell and promote and encourage people to get the Dream Light no matter where they are, because I really want them to use it year round because the benefits are just so comforting. And I always tell people, well, you know, for sleep, you don't want to be hot, you don't want to be cold, you don't want to be achy or stiff. So you really need to be on the Nikken sleep system, and that's what's best and most important for long-term health. And the comforter is such a vital part of that component. In fact, I never leave town if I'm going out of town with at least the twin size to take with me, because it does make you comfortable. Because, you know, when you're staying in hotels or different places, the temperature, it just seems like you're either hot or you're cold. You're never comfortable unless you have the Nikken Dream Comforter with you. So part of the Nikken sleep system, offering the same benefits as the Kenko Dream Comforter, but in a lighter form. The Kenko Dream Light Comforter helps you keep warm on cool nights and cozy on cooler ones. Made of ceramic coated reflective fibers that absorb heat energy, body heat, for example. Ceramic fibers radiate it back as calming warmth to help soothe the body throughout the night. So it keeps you about 2 degrees above your normal body temperature, because each fiber fills with your heat. And once those fibers are filled, the rest just dissipates away from your body. So if you're cold, it might take a couple more minutes to warm it up. And if you're hot, they're going to be filled quickly. So generally within 5 to 10 minutes of being under the comforter, you're going to be comfortable. So you just need a sheet with this, no blankets. I do tell people that, well, if you are getting a little cooler, you can put a blanket or another comforter on top, but you can't take it away. So that's why I always promote the light comforter. And it's perfect for, like, my mom. I talked to her, she's in Iowa. It was 94 degrees yesterday and she doesn't have the air conditioner on. I'm like, what? Oh my goodness, that's crazy. You have it, use it. So I actually remember a time when my air conditioning went out in my house when I was in my 3-story house. And the top floor in my bedroom, it was 100 degrees in there. Now in Florida, it normally doesn't get to be 100 degrees outside, but in my house, it was 100 degrees. And I did have a separate wall unit in my first floor room. And I'm like, nope, I'm going to sleep in my bed. This comforter is supposed to regulate my temperature. I'm going to let it do its thing. And I did turn on the ceiling fan. So it took me a little bit longer to get to sleep, but I slept all night long. And my husband came upstairs because he slept downstairs, and he's like, wow, it's still 100 degrees up here. How are you sleeping? I'm like, I'm fine, until I flip back the comforter. And then I'm like, oh, and I flipped it back. I'm like, no, it's safe, safer in here. So that's just one example of how it does that. So it can be used alone or to maximize your sleep environment. Experience the Nikken sleep system by using with the Kenko Naturist Fit and Naturist Pillow. Temperature regulation for calming sleep, ventilation for freshness, advanced magnetic technology. So I do love my comforter, and I'm going to show you something else I like to show people, and that would be what we call the lemon test. So before the call this morning, I actually sliced the lemon. And so if you think about it, is the first bite of a lemon usually more sour and bitter, or the second one? Okay, I know you can't answer me right now, but it's usually the first one because you're surprised. And then the second one, you're like, okay. Well, what I'm going to do is actually hold the comforter up to my throat while I take a bite of lemon. So you can try this at home with the comforter, or actually even with any of the Nikken Kenkotherm wraps. It'll also work because they're all that Kenkotherm technology. So you take a bite, hold this up to your neck, take a bite of the lemon. Tastes like a lemon, right? So now, this quickly, I'm going to do it again, and we'll see how this lemon tastes. Such a dramatic difference instantly between having this up against your body and away. So if you imagine, if you sleep in this environment all night long under this comforter, just imagine how much sweeter you'll be, right? And I'll let that sink into your brain for a minute. So we do have, like, this is a King Dreamlight comforter, and it's a little thinner. You see that? Yeah, a little thinner than this is the Dream Weight. So that's a heavier one. So does anybody else here have a story they would like to share about their comforter? Just raise your hand and we'll share away. Thank you. Okay, Elaine.
Because of what you just mentioned, of the ability of this quilt to to change a lemon, change, I guess, the acidity in the lemon, because it's not changing the taste, it still tastes like a lemon. It does things in your body to help your body, and at a time when you're sick is when you need when you need a change in your body. And so we had rented this really big cabin up the mountain between Christmas and New Year's, our whole family. And so I really wanted to go, but I guess I had just gotten a little too busy, and I was just worn down and starting to get sick. And of course I wanted to get better. And of course I didn't want to get them sick. So they put me in this room, had these 3 huge windows, and and it was just gorgeous. You could see the snow outside. It was so pretty. And anyway, I just wrapped up in that quilt like a hot dog, literally just wrapped up in it. And I said, okay, baby, do your little lemon thing on me. And normally a normal sickness is, oh dear, I'm starting to be sick, maybe about 2 o'clock in the afternoon. You're trying to fight it off. And then by the next day, it's getting worse. And the next day it's getting worse. So it's going downhill for several days and you feel horrible. And then after a while, and it takes about a week or 2 and you go up again. That's what a normal sickness does. With this, by the morning, I could tell that I was already on the upswing. I missed that complete week of going downhill and coming up in one night. The other benefit was, because of these 3 enormous windows, it was really cold in my room. There were no blinds on those windows.
Oh, wow.
So it was really cold in my room, but I was not cold. And there was only that one thin little layer, like
so you had the Dream Light. Okay, yeah.
It was one thin little layer between me and those 3 huge windows, and I was fine.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and actually I'm thinking, well, I didn't really show. This is all 3 technologies in here. We have the magnetics, which you can see. This is just the sample size. Okay. You can see that. And it's the Kenkotherm, which is the energy of the sun. It also has tourmaline in it, which is creates like you're at an ocean or a forest air, and it's just so comforting. So thank you for sharing that. And I have 2 cats, and if I actually have like one of the smaller comforters on my couch, that's the only time they'll come up and see me. Otherwise they're like, nope, not coming. Oh, you have a comforter? You can't placebo a cat or a dog. Thank you for sharing. That's a really good story. And yeah, I'm glad you took it with you, right? Never leave home without it.
Ever.
And it's also good for people up north when it's snowing or sleeting, icing, to have one at least in your back seat of your car in case you should go off or get stuck or stranded or something, because once again, it's regulating back your body heat. So we actually have a lemon test too, and it shows that the it actually gets colder on the plate that's actually, has the ceramic on top of it. So, it can actually be a lifesaver too. So anybody else want to share? Just raise your hand. Oh, you have Marcia. Marcia?
Hello. Anyway, my husband and I are one of those couples that one of us is hot and one of us is cold all the time. So when we got the comforter, of course, both of us were comfortable underneath it, but the most interesting part was, you know how when you sleep on your spoon and that's so nice and cozy, but you really feel the heat between your bodies. And what I noticed the first time we used the comforter, that literally that heat, it felt hot for a second when we first connected. And then literally I could feel the heat dissipating. It was like the strangest thing to notice. It's just like, whoosh. And it was just neutral, without that
Yeah.
intense
Mhm.
hotness.
It's the marriage saver
Yes,
aspect.
yes.
And it's amazing that one comforter, and it's because of the technology inside that, one person's hot, the other one's cold. Within just a few minutes, you're both comfortable. It's beautiful. Thank you. That's a really good point. Thank you for sharing. Anybody else? I know we could go on for days on this because we all love our comforters. I see a hand with Hattie Jane. Go ahead, Hattie Jane.
Hello, y'all. As you can see, my skin is a little on the very light side.
You're pale?
Very.
Okay.
So when I went out and had a wonderful time at the beach and thoroughly enjoyed the wonderful wind and the birds and the waves, they were great. And I was red as a lobster when I got home. So I rolled myself up in the comforter, and I was a little uncomfortable. But the next morning, I had a beautiful tan. Now, usually I blister and I'm peeling for weeks. So I really like the comforter.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that aspect. Thank you. Yeah, because I do the same thing. I'm very cautious of getting too much sun these days, but I remember just get under the comforter. I'll be fine tomorrow. Thank you, Hattie Jane. So many different aspects. Okay. Is that it for now? Okay. So Nikken Kenkotherm comforter, either the Dream Light or the Dream Comforter, which is the heavier. Your choice. I do have both because I can. So get it, use it, and you'll love it.